Hello, wee artists. How are you? Happy Wednesday. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of weaving. You're going to have two options. Actually, as many options as you want, but I'm going to show you two options. We're going to do a weaving on a cardboard cutout of an animal. This one is a yarn weaving on a llama. And then I'm also going to show you how to do a paper weaving in case you don't have yarn, because not all of us have yarn. So we got to make do with what we have. All right, so the first thing you want to do is think of what your background looks like. Usually I do this on just a plain rectangular piece of cardboard, and that works too. But this time I thought I'd try to do something a little different. So I decided to cut out an animal instead. And I did this little llama weaving, and after doing it, I thought, I really like that and it was fun, but I think I should go a little bigger. So the one that I'm going to be working on with you guys is a bigger llama. All right. Does it have to be a llama? Of course not. You can, if you want to do an elephant, if you want to do a dog, whatever you choose. So that one, if you don't actually think that you can draw one, another option could be to print out a picture of an animal that you find online, cut it out, and then trace it onto a piece of cardboard. This is just a box, so you can use any type of cardboard that you find. Trace it, cut it out. There's your loom for your weaving. All right. So the next thing that you want to do is actually create the loom on your animal. I'm going to grab I would use a pencil, but so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to use a marker. You need to make sure that you have an odd number of slits cut. So I'm going to do 5. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be making 5 slits across from each other. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. If they're not perfectly lined up across from each other, that's okay. But you don't want them to go super far down, and you also have to make sure that they're kind of in the same spot, but not exactly in the same spot. I would say about 1/4 to 1/2 inch is a good measurement. Then you're going to get your scissors. Oh, did I put my scissors back? I did. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay. So then you're going to get your scissors, and you're going to cut on your slits. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the top. There that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. All right. Now we're going to start using our yarn. So I have a couple different pieces or rolls of yarn here. Take the end of your yarn and figure out which is the front and which is the back. I think I'm going to have this side be the back because it's got my pencil lines on it from what I drew. So you put your yarn into the slit like this. So it's got a little tail hanging off. If you want to, you can tape that little piece down, and that'll make sure that it stays in place. Or you can kind of hold it with your finger, and then as you go, it will be woven into it, so you don't need to worry about it. So that's the back of mine. Now this is the front. So I'm going to take it down and put it into the slit across from it. Now if you flip this to the back, you can see there's a slit next to it, so I'm going to go like this, and on the back, it will look like this. Okay, turn it back to the front. It goes up and into that slit. Then On the back, it goes across. So I'm basically going down and across. Down, across, down, or up in that case, across, whoop, across, and down. Okay, that's all I need to do to create the loom that I'm going to weave on. Now I'm going to take my scissors, cut off that little tail right there. I am going to grab a piece of tape to tape those down. Okay, so I'll grab a piece of tape, tape that tail down, tape that tail down. All right, now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start to weave. I want to show you, you can just use your fingers, but if you have a paper clip, I'll show you how to make a easy paper clip weaving needle. So this is my paper clip. If you take that middle part and fold it down like this, oh, and my paper clip broke, but it forms like an S, like this. Then you can just wrap a piece of tape around that middle part, and you've got something that looks like this. You can actually use this as a little weaving needle. So I've got another piece of yarn here. I tied one end of the yarn onto the weaving needle. Then with the other end of the yarn, here's the front of my llama again. I'm going to first start by putting it under this first string, like that. Then, hopefully you can see my hands okay. Make a loop, tuck it under, and pull, just to knot my string on there. You don't have to knot it on, but it makes it easier so it doesn't pull out. Now, weaving with yarn is just like when you did your paper weavings with Mr. Watson in 2nd grade. Weaving is under, over, under, over, under, over, again and again and again. It never changes. So if I start under this yarn, I go over this next one. Then I go under this one. That means I go over that one. So you can see under, over, under, over. Now, pull. It is very important to do this part. You pull all the way to the end so that you've got one line in there. Now, on the way back, whatever, you can see that my yarn ended over this one. So that means when I go back in this direction, I need to go what, Ben? Under or over?
Under.
Under. You got it. So, under. Let me put this down so I can hold it. Under, over. Under, over. Under. Then I pull. Whoop, it's caught. That's okay. Just do that and pull. Okay. There we go. So that's my next line. Now I take my fingers and I push it up like that. Okay, Ben, so I left off under this one. So when I go back, I do what?
Over.
You got it. So I go over this one first. Over, under, over, under, over. Now what do I do?
Pull.
Pull. Pull. Okay. So what do you think will happen if I accidentally start, let's see, I'm over this one. What if I accidentally start over again and go back? Let's see what happens. Okay, so I accidentally go back the same way. What's gonna happen? Let's see. Oh, pulled that right out. So that's why you have to make sure that you do the opposite every time. So I go this way, pull tight. All right. And if you pull super tight, it actually bends the strings, pulls them in like this and makes the weaving too tight. So don't pull it so tight that you make the strings come inwards like an hourglass. Just tight enough that it holds its place. So I would spend a few more minutes and I would complete my weaving all the way down to the bottom. All right, and I'm not going to show you that because, you know, that's not important for you to see. So after I've got this whole thing done, then I would go back in and I would decorate my little llama. This guy is done, my much smaller one. So you can see that I just added some little details on him. His face, his ears, and decorated him a little bit. That's it. Pretty cute. So let's say you don't have any yarn. That's okay. You can do the same thing out of cardboard and paper. So this little doggy I cut out of a shoebox. All right. Now I made his face with paper and I'm starting to make his woven belly. So how do we do that? All right. So I cut these strips of bluish purple paper. That's going to be the loom that I'm going to weave into. So now one important thing is you don't want to glue the whole thing down, just the edges. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to put some glue on the top and the bottom. All right, just 2 dots, top and bottom. Then I'm going to glue it here. Notice how I left spaces between each of the pieces of paper. That's so that when you're weaving, you have space to go under each one. Here's my edge piece. So just at the top and the bottom. Now I glue that down like this. All right. Now, that's how I created the loom. And if you look, that's the same as these strings right here. These pieces of yarn right here are the same type of a loom as this paper here. Then I'm going to take another piece of paper, and I chose a different color just because it's easier to see. And you're going to cut strips from this. So, not sure how many I need, but I'll just cut several here. All right. Now, I'm going to do a paper weaving, just like you did in 2nd grade with Mr. Watson. So, weaving with paper is the same as weaving with yarn. It is an under, over, under, over. So I went under, slid it under this first blue piece. Now I've got to grab that end and go over that next blue piece. Now I want to go under, over, under, over. There we go. There's my first one. Now since I began under this one with this yellow strip, my next yellow strip, I need to start what then?
Over.
You got it. Over. So I go over this one, under, over, under, and over. There we go. You can start to see the pattern that the weaving is creating. Under, over, whoop. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get it under those ones. Over and under. And I'll do just a couple more real quick so you can see it finished. All right. Over. Oh, I almost did 2 unders. That would not be the correct method of weaving. Oh, I'm having trouble grabbing this one. That's the tricky thing about this, right? Okay, there we go. And push it up. I'm almost done. I think I can fit in one more. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
One more in there. Under, over, under, over, under, and over. Oops, over and under. Get in there, mister. Okay, there we go. And that's it. And I have this adorable little doggy with this cute woven blanket looking thing on his belly. All right, so we got a couple different options. You can do an animal. If you don't want to do an animal, don't do an animal. You could do a heart-shaped loom. You could just do a rectangle loom. Doesn't matter. Have fun with it. All right, kiddos, I can't wait to see what you come up with. And I love, love, love that you are sending me pictures of your artwork. Keep doing that. I love to put it on the art gallery. All right, miss you all. Be well. Bye.